Welcome back to Blacks in Motion. As always, it's still Clif here, and we're going to talk a little bit of NBA playoff basketball. Look, we're getting down to the end of the season, and I'm going to give you a few things to keep your eye on as we move into the playoffs. So starting off in the Eastern Conference, look, even though Miami and the Indiana Pacers have been playing real sorry as of late, it's still a two-man race over there. The other teams are going to have to play a little bit better in order to actually have a real chance at beating those two guys. But because Miami and Indiana has been faltering, do not sleep on the next three teams that's right there in line: Toronto, Chicago, and Brooklyn. Why, may you ask? Toronto has actually put together a great season. Them guys are looking to possibly have a 50-win season, and that probably be like the first time that ever happened in Toronto. So look for those guys to make a splash in the playoffs. Now moving on to Chicago, these guys are like the bruisers of the league. Kind of remind me of the bad boy Pistons. They're going to beat you up. They're going to make you work for everything that you get, and they're a supreme defensive team on the court. So look for Chicago to cause a little problems over there in the Eastern Conference. And the Brooklyn Nets, yes, the Brooklyn Nets. Now, they may be underachieving, but they've done something very rare. They've beaten the number one seed Miami Heat 4 times this season. They're 4-0. They swept them in the regular season series. So if you ask me, the Miami Heat, yeah, better team, but they might not want to see Brooklyn in the playoffs, and Brooklyn could spell danger for a few other teams as the playoffs begin. Now moving over to the West, or should I say the Wild, Wild West, because things are a little bit closer over there in that conference. Now, my San Antonio Spurs, down here in the Lone Star State with the Alamo and everything, we're still holding on to the number one spot. Now, we got to be careful because you got OKC clicking at our heels, and they're playing wonderful basketball behind, I should say, the wonderful play of Mr. Icewater. That's what I call him, Kevin Durant. He will be this league's year's MVP, no matter what. I don't care what nobody says. I love LeBron. I think LeBron's a better player, but this season belongs to KD. And OKC will be right there to make a splash in the playoffs. Now, after those two teams, it could be some great matchups in the first round, because the next set of teams between the 3 and the 7 spot are really, really good. And we're talking about the LA Clippers, the Golden State Warriors, the Portland Trail Blazers, and last but not least, the Houston Rockets. Look for all these guys to be hungry and ready to make a deep playoff run. But because so many teams are good in the West, it could be some great first round matchups. The 4-5 matchup, the 3-6 matchup is going to be something really good. So the number 1 and number 2 seeds, possibly San Antonio and OKC, better be ready in the second round when they have to play those guys if they make it out of the first, because it's going to be tough. So whoever comes out of the Western Conference will definitely be ready to challenge anybody that comes out of the Eastern Conference. But those are some of the things that I think you should look for going into the playoffs. Now, you may say, Clif, man, the San Antonio Spurs are going to be dead in the water. They're going to get in the playoffs. They're going to lose. You might think that the Knicks are going to get into the playoffs and then disrupt everything over there in the East and actually come out and go to the finals. You may think that the UConn Huskies winning double titles for the men's and women's program the first time since 2004, which that was the same program that did it then, is just a bunch of hogwash and they're not actually that good. Either way, I want to hear from you. Let me know what you think. Hit me up in my email, clif@blackvideonews.com. And please always stay logged on and love us right here at Blacks in Motion.